You're tuned in to Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP.
It's big pimpin', baby.
All right, we're back here, Philly's #1 college radio station, WHIP. This is the main event. I'm Chase Sr. Let's go out to the phone lines and welcome in Spike Eskin of Sports Radio, WIP. Spike, what's going on?
Yo, how are you?
Doing fantastic, and you made some headlines earlier this week. You embarked on some heroic actions when you had to pull the Heimlich remover on Angelo Cataldi over there in the studio. Take us through that. I'm sure you weren't expecting to do something like that. You had to think on your feet, didn't you?
Yeah, it's funny saying it out loud. Like, every time I read something about it or say it out loud, it sounds even funnier than before. And I know it's serious and that something bad could have happened if I didn't do what I did, but it still sounds funny to say that Angelo Cataldi was choking on a cheesesteak.
Right.
It's still really, really funny. So, no, I certainly wasn't expecting that this week in Wing Bowl week around WIP. I work for everybody for CBS in Philly, but my office is at WIP's offices, and Wing Bowl week for us in the on the radio and the digital world is very, very busy week. So, it was just another crazy thing that added to it. So, but I'm glad that he's all right and everyone's all right. So, and I'll get a better wedding gift out of it.
Now, Cataldi has such a great sense of humor. His personality is great. Did you think he was joking at first when you see him choking on a cheesesteak? Because out of all things, not many people choke on a cheesesteak.
No, well, we were filming a video and a video B on our site on Monday, and one of the scenes was him taking a big bite of the cheesesteak, and what he told me was that when afterwards was that the reason, and he took like an enormous bite, and the reason he just didn't spit it out is that we had and you see in the video, there's like 40 people there, and he didn't want to spit food out in front of people.
Yeah, I saw some pictures.
He wasn't kidding, because he asked me for water when we were with everyone else. It sounded scratchy, but he could talk, and then when we went to get it, he was turning red, and when he was trying to talk and nothing was coming out, and he actually made the Heimlich, if there's a Heimlich sign you can make to somebody.
Yeah.
He was doing that. He was showing me that's what he needed, and I said to him, "Are you serious?" And he said yes, and that's when I did it.
Hilarious stuff. Now, it's just amazing to me. I mean, I'm 22 years old, but how much Wing Bowl has grown, because I've been in the area my entire life. It started out in a little hotel lobby, and now it's a huge eating competition that's well known around the country. You've been a part of the process for a couple of years. It's a highly entertaining event. It gets really wild. What can fans expect tomorrow morning?
Exactly what they've always gotten. It's setting up to be, believe it or not, it sold out faster this year than I think it ever has. It sold out in 12 hours, and then we had an extra 2,000 tickets after we set up our staging and stuff and knew that we would have more, and those 2,000 tickets probably a few weeks later sold out in another 3 hours. So it's pretty incredible, and to have, to me, the most amazing, I mean, Brett Brown will be there, which I think is really neat. Matt Stairs will be there, which I think is neat. Chaz Palminteri, who created A Bronx Tale, is going to be there. But the fact that Jason Kelsey is not only going to be there, but it's going to be eating in the contest is it's unbelievable to me that there's an Eagles player in the contest. So it gets bigger every year, and I really, and this is not me being hypey, but I really think it could be one of the more memorable ones.
Yeah, it's great that Kelsey's participating in the event. We wish he was playing at MetLife Stadium on Sunday, but what can you do? A couple seconds ago, as we're talking to Spike Eskin of Sports Radio WIP on the main event, WHIP, Philly's #1 college radio station, you mentioned Brett Brown, how he's going to be at the Wing Bowl. I know you're a big basketball guy. Sixers currently sitting at 15-31 on the season, but this year is about building for the future. What have been your impressions so far on the job that Brett Brown has done after 46 games?
I think he's done a great job. I mean, I think one of the most important things when we did all the season previews is, the two things that I thought were the three things that I would look at with Brown, when you sort of judge him, are not if their shots go in, but what sort of shots they're taking and what sort of shots they're trying to get. That, and whether he's able to develop those younger guys, make them better. And the third thing is they're obviously going to lose a lot, and everybody sort of disagreed about how much, but it was clear they were going to lose a lot of games. And is he going to be able to keep them as focused and working as hard when you lose a lot of games, And I think he's, been an A+ with all those. It shows in games, like they continue to win really close games when they've lost certainly their fair share. I think it's fair to say that Hollis Thompson has gotten much better. Tony Roten,
good six man,
gotten better. Michael Carter-Williams is a work in progress and started very good, but I think he's shown improvements in a lot of ways. So even Thaddeus Young, I think, is probably having one of his best seasons. So I can say nothing bad about the job that Brown has done. I know a lot of people have questioned, they've been pretty bad defensively, but I don't think he's got nobody protecting the middle of the floor.
No, not at all.
Nobody. And I don't think you can play at the pace that they're playing and also defend at the same time. So I'll wait till they're actually supposed to be good before I judge the defense. So I think he's done a wonderful job.
Personally, I like the draft night moves. It took some guts trading away your franchise player in Drew Holiday, but that's a move that can help and pay dividends down the line. Nerlens Noel has some potential. He's a great athlete, really talented defensively, and MCW has excelled and exceeded all expectations. 17 points per game, just under 7 assists, and just under 6 boards per game. Long, rangy, great vision. What have been your thoughts on MCW and how he has progressed so far? Obviously, there's been some rookie challenges so far for him as well.
I think if anyone thought he'd be this good, I'd be shocked if you were able to look online or listen to recorded shows and find one person who thought that he was going to be. And I don't know if Sam Hinkie thought he'd be this good, but something tells me I doubt that he thought he would be this impressive.
Especially his shooting from the outside, it's been really, really good.
Yeah, well, what's interesting is, and I went to Syracuse, so I know people up there, and pretty much the reaction I got from them was, "Oh, good luck with him." It wasn't very positive. And I think the thing that is interesting about his shot and how it's been streaky. I think it hasn't been terrible. It hasn't been great, but it hasn't been terrible. Was I listened to an interview with Jerry McNamara, who coached him at Syracuse and a great shooter himself.
Yep.
And he seemed to think that MCW's shot was definitely fixable. And I think when you look at it, it doesn't look bad. The key for him more than anything, I think, is shot selection in the outside, and I think when his feet are set, he's a much better shooter, like everybody. But I think when he's surrounded by more guys who can score more, and he doesn't have a lot of that scoring burden, I think he'll be an even better shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'll probably be a better shooter, a better offensive player at 13.5 points a game than he is at 17. And he's able to take less shots. So I've been blown away by how good he's been.
Spike Eskin joins us on the show. And Spike, I have a little bit of a hypothetical situation for you. The Sixers are going to get a top pick. Not sure if they'll catch Milwaukee. The Bucks sit at 8-37 right now, and a possible additional lottery pick from New Orleans, which is top 5 protected. If you have your choice of some of the top players in the college ranks right now, Jabari Parker, Andrew Wiggins, Joel Embiid, Julius Randle, even Marcus Smart or Doug McDermott, if you're the Sixers and Sam Hinkie, who would you like to take, and who really suits this team the best out of those crop of players?
I gotta be honest. I'll only talk about it in general terms. I think I don't watch I found that there's a lot of people are either NBA people or college people, and I'm an NBA guy. Like most times, I don't watch these guys until 2 weeks before the draft or after they're drafted. I like the NBA game way better than I like the college game.
Even since you're a Syracuse guy, huh?
I've watched a good bit of those guys this year. I'll tell you, I would rather have a wing than a front court guy. I think it's difficult to win a championship without an elite wing player, and
I agree.
I don't think they have an elite wing player, and I think as good as MCW is, you still need points to come from out there, and I don't know that he'll be providing one of those. So, that it takes you down to Parker, and for me, about Exum. You know, I haven't watched any of it. I just know what I read. And I feel like, you know, Brett Brown probably knows more about Exum than any of us do.
Yeah, the Aussie
so
kid.
That takes us down to Wiggins and Parker. And of what I've seen and what I like Wiggins better than Parker. I'll tell you, I don't like Randall. I'm not a big, bruising power forward guy. I don't know that you win in today's NBA with a low post power forward is your best offensive option. You know, and I don't know. He's playing with kids right now. When you go from playing with kids to playing with men, then you can't push everyone around. The game changes for you a lot. So I'm not a Randall guy. Embiid's definitely very impressive, and it would be an interesting front court with Noel. But I don't think either of those guys sort of have the offensive tools to play next to each other. You know, so I think I would take Wiggins, but I'd certainly trust Sam Hinkie in whatever he does.
Sticking with the Sixers, Thaddeus Young, a report came out a couple weeks ago. He might have wanted out. Spencer Hawes and Evan Turner are both free agents. Before the trading deadline, do you expect any moves to be made?
Yeah, I would say two of three of those guys are gone. I think I think there's a possibility Thad will stay. I think it's a fair contract, and it's he's young enough. You know, I think that that for all three of them, because for Thad because he's a valuable player, and for the other two because expiring money is worth something too.
Yeah.
I don't think Hinkie will trade them if he doesn't see fair value. I don't know what fair value is for those guys, but I don't think he'll take on money, past this year. So essentially what you're looking for is expiring $6.5 or $7 million and a young player or a pick. And I don't know, I think Spencer might be worth more than Turner is. But I think it's going to come down to the wire. I think a couple of the guys will be gone, but I don't think it'll be until very close to the deadline when enough teams know what they need, know the health of certain guys, on their team, and know if they think that they're a playoff threat. So I would guess 2 of 3 will be gone.
Briefly before you head out, you being a huge fan of the association, just want to get your thoughts real quick on the run that Kevin Durant is on right now. He's scoring the ball at will, and he's just been ridiculous. I mean, he was hitting shots in LeBron's face last night.
Yeah, he's one of those guys, in the NBA, it's almost like, I think when you talk about wide receiver and defensive back, like if you give the wide receiver enough time, he knows where he's going. Defensive back doesn't know where he's going. So the great wide receiver, I think, will always win out over the great cornerback, In the NBA, most of these guys are almost impossible to guard one-on-one. And then when you talk about the elite guys, like Durant, when he's got it going, there's almost nothing he can do. And you saw, to me, the two best wing defenders are LeBron and Iguodala. And he has torched both of those guys in the last 2 weeks. And when you're 6'10", and you can shoot like that, his shot, he's such a good shooter. It's really, he's on an unbelievable run. I still think James is a better player, but this is a year I feel like where a different guy can win the MVP, and Durant obviously won't keep this up, but he's certainly putting himself in position for it. He's an unbelievable scorer. Unbelievable.
All right, Spike. Well, I know it's a busy time for you with Wing Bowl coming up, but thanks so much for joining the show. Enjoy yourself tomorrow, and we'll talk to you again down the road.
I will, and thank you. I hope I just survive tomorrow. That's what I'm looking for.
I'll be there, so I'll come try and holler at you.
All right, man.
All right, take care.
See you guys.